This is Rehearsal and Recovery with Jamelyn Gray. Today's guest, Liz Ehrler. As an actor, I get feelings of being embarrassed for people.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ren Fair people. Like the Renaissance Fair is, and I know so many people like really enjoy that work and they love it, and it's like their favorite thing to do all year. But I just think of the people that are there and what they're doing, like really enjoying their job, and people at the Ren Fair are just like, man, let me eat this thing.
hmm
Similarly, with your family on a cruise.
Yeah.
On a Marvel cruise, a Marvel-themed cruise.
Yeah. That's how I feel with like haunted house actors too. A little bit.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Haunted house people really enjoy that work.
hmm
But people really enjoy going to haunted houses too. And I almost imagine like people that are going to the Marvel thing really enjoy the Marvel thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it can be, I think what it is, at least for me, like the people that, I'm gonna say like poke fun of them, but like that, I don't know, like that's where I just feel like really uncomfy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Renaissance people who go to the Renaissance fair are a little bit like little sideways about it.
Yes.
Little poking at
Yeah.
the Ren
I
Fair
think
people.
that's the
I
best way
mean,
to describe it.
that's what
That
I feel.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super aki-taki.
Yeah. Well, hello, Liz Ehrler.
Oh, are we actually recording?
Yeah, I've been recording for like 20 minutes.
Whoopsies. Yeah, no, it is.
It's been a very long time that I've been recording.
Yep.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming on the podcast
Meaty
today.
dad.
I'm so excited. I'm
Yay.
so excited. Yeah, I was thinking about because you're up on my wall.
I know, it's like my one claim to fame is my breast and face.
Yeah, your breasts and beautiful, beautiful lips. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to pull it down for the camera, but
Yeah.
but Liz is up there from our Women Laughing Alone with Salad.
My dimple too.
Yeah, and your dimple from when we did that in pandemic, and we took very distanced pictures in the backyard and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it was quite the adventure. And Leshek going to people's houses and building things with a mask on and oh my God, what a crazy time.
Yeah, that's how Brandon met Leshek, and he still to this day will talk very fondly about him coming into our home. He's like, I couldn't understand a thing he was saying, but I really enjoyed it. I was like, I know, that's when their bromance really sparked.
That was when the bromance started. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All of this is to say we have known each other for many a year at this point.
7 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute because I met you when you did the Milwaukee Theater Alliance, the first ever Milwaukee Theater Alliance Generals, and you came in and like blew the room away and was like, I must have this person in my life. And I wanted you to read For God of Hell there. And you were just too young.
I was. Yeah. Thank you so much though. That really touches my heart. I am my own worst critic,
Sure.
both personally and professionally. So I really do appreciate that. But yeah, I remember you pulled me aside and I was like, this lady's so nice. She really thinks I'm a good actress. But yeah, I do remember that you were like, hey, listen, you're really great. And you were like working with me on the monologue that I did. But you were like, yeah, you're too young.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did just kind of graduate college. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was like, was that your first thing coming down from?
Yeah, that was my first like professional audition that I did aside from Milwaukee Generals too. Was at the Milwaukee Theater Alliance as well. What did I did a monologue from Bellwether and then I sang a song from Dogfight. So, just very standard.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah. But that's how we met, and we've been friends for all of time now, and I think we should say, like, from right off the bat, you are not a sober person.
I am not a sober person.
You are not a sober person.
Yeah.
But this episode is intentionally about really how to be a good ally to sober persons,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of challenges still, and stigma, and all of those cultural challenges,
Mhm.
particularly in Wisconsin, because we have such an effervescent drinking culture.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, yeah. That's a really nice way to put it.
And so and plus also, and we can get in, and I would actually like to get into it. You are from a family of an alcoholic,
Mm,
and that has left a huge mark on your existence, and
mhm.
I'd love to talk about that as well.
Yes, very much an open book with that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But makes you a really great person to talk to about, and your human resources background and all this kind of, so you have a whole bunch of like things that collide to make you a really great person to talk to about allyship in the recovery realm.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I love being an ally for I was thinking about it on my way over here. I think people in recovery are some of the coolest people I've ever met. Like ever
Yeah.
since I started working in the field, um, just I find so much admiration for them on so many different levels. And I know that people in recovery find it like one of the tenets is and I don't know all of them obviously and I'm learning every single day, but like to be humble
Yeah.
and like but I just put them on pedestals because I'm like you guys are doing such a hard thing every single
Yeah.
day, every single minute, and I find it so admirable. So
Thank you.
yay,
Thank you.
congratulations everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that humility piece is it's the recognizing that you have little power over
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that there's a lot of things both in recovery and just that everybody can take from that in
Just
general.
being a good human.
Yes, yes. There's so much like radical acceptance. Like there are so many
Yeah.
things that we just have no control over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I like to try and live my life by every single day too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of comes through, you know.
Yeah. So so where did you grow up?
I grew up in it was at one point in time a small town and now it has over like double the population, but I grew up outside of Madison in a town called Sun Prairie. So
Oh, is it real big now?
yeah, when I mean I used to be able to it's so stereotypical. I used to be able to grow up in the streets or like not grow up, but play in the
Yeah,
streets, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Just go and wait till the lights come back on. But it used to be like 15,000 and now it's over 33,000. You
Oh,
know, people like it
really?
literally has doubled in size. Yeah,
Wow.
so now you can't even tell that apart from Madison. It is truly just like
Oh,
an
they've just sort
exciting.
of melded together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm from outside of Madison area, and I was like, I'm never gonna be in Milwaukee. Why would I go there? I love
So
Madison.
dirty.
Yeah.
So dirty, that
And I
Milwaukee.
know, and here I am purchasing my first home in Milwaukee.
You did it.
I did
Yay.
it,
But just
yes.
congratulations to
Yeah,
that as well. That's
yeah.
a big step.
Yeah, just having my own safe little haven. So I did it. I've become a part of the 532.
Yes.
Yes. I was like, that is my zip code, right? Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Somewhere in the five something something. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
414.
Yeah.
Yep. But I will always have a 608 area code.
I don't think any of us change our numbers
Yeah, no,
actually
it's
anymore.
never gonna happen.
Yeah.
I've had it forever.
Yeah. I will always be 773 from
Mm,
here on out
yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah. And that's always what I'm gonna know you as. So
Yeah. Yeah.
please don't
Totally.
change it.
So you grew up in Sun Prairie.
Yeah.
Your family still lives there, yeah?
Yeah, my mom's still there. I was just
Yeah.
there this past weekend.
Yeah.
Demolishing shit.
Yeah. Um w- was childhood normal? Was it the thing of dreams? Like what where ho- let me ask this. When was the first time you had like this recognition of, oh, this is not normal?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great way to describe it because I did think it was normal for a while until I so nobody was ever able to come to our house. We always went over to other people's
Oh.
houses. Yeah, because
Oh.
my dad didn't allow that. Like nobody could come over. We couldn't have sleepovers. So I think like one of the few times I could have a sleepover at my house, I was a junior in high school.
Whoa.
Yeah, is that wild? Yeah. So and I was finally able to have all my friends over for a sleepover.
But that's like that's not even family members. That's not even like cousins or
Oh
like
no,
like
no, no,
anything
no,
like
no.
that.
I mean, and my dad had an issue with like everybody who wasn't like a white cis man. So,
Oh,
yeah, so I didn't really know that my childhood wasn't normal, quote unquote, until I would say probably like 7, 8 years old, maybe 9. Like we're talking, I was like in the middle of elementary school when I
okay.
started like going over to friends' houses, and I was like, oh wow, your family doesn't have like plates flying up against the wall. Like you don't have family members punching the wall. Like you don't have like people yelling and like you going to get your dad Miller 64, Miller High Life, like this isn't a normal occurrence for you.
Mm,
So that's when I was like, okay, maybe something is a little bit different. Like you are not always being verbally harassed all the time. We're like, like some things are different outside of there. And then I would go and just go to different friends' houses and spend nights at different friends' houses and see like their different environments that they had and their different home networks, and really just seeing how loving and nurturing those networks were, and then seeing that like that is what a healthy parent-child
mm,
relationship looks like,
mhm.
instead of the one that I had from my dad. I mean, and I had a good relationship with my mom, but at the same time she was still allowing this to happen.
Right.
Yeah. And we're working on this
Working through
now.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Wh- because that's to say your dad just recently passed away.
Yeah, 11 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're right now going through a whole life change,
Hmm.
as it were,
Yeah.
because of that. Do you when do you did you go over to people's houses and then turn back to your dad and be like, "Oh, he's got a problem"? Was it only through the lens of other people, or was there a point before that where you were like, "He has a problem with substances"?
I didn't really realize that he had a problem until I was probably in middle school,
Okay.
when he never liked the fact that I did theater.
Okay.
Shocker,
Okay.
right? He didn't
Well, what parents really like it that we do theater?
right.
Yeah.
He didn't like you're gonna have to put some trigger warnings at the beginning of this episode because
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna quote him.
Okay.
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 So he didn't like that I was hanging out with queers. He didn't like I was hanging out with fags. He didn't like the fact I was hanging out with window lickers. Like he didn't like all of these different things. So when I didn't know he had a problem until as he was forcefully and begrudgingly driving me to rehearsal, and I had to take the wheel for him.
Oh.
Yeah, like that's when it clicked that I was like, this shouldn't be happening. Like my dad
Oh.
is slurring, like he can barely walk,
Oh.
and it's not even rehearsals at 6:30,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
man got off of work at 3 at downtown Madison and is now coming back home, and that's a 30-minute drive. So he's not getting home till 3:30, and then at like clockwork, this man has to shit. So he's not getting done until 3:45 on a good day. So we have less than 3 hours for him to get absolutely shit faced. And I'm not a small person, so he's a big man too,
Yeah.
So he is drinking. And by the time he was at the end of his life, and the doctor said he had to stop drinking, he was drinking at least 1.75 of vodka and, you know, beer on top of that too. And he
Yeah.
was like, he still couldn't really stop. At some point he did, but then I call it his Make-A-Wish trip. He went to Las Vegas with my mom and my sisters. He was drinking on that trip too because it was his Make-A-Wish trip. It was his last hurrah. He had to,
Yeah.
go again. So I'm not quite sure when exactly he stopped. if he really did. I mean, he had alcohol-induced dementia at the end,
Okay.
because he had wet brain so bad. Um, so I'm not quite sure when, if at all, he did stop drinking because
Okay.
I was no contact for the last
Right.
3 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's another story too. But yeah, I didn't really know that there was an actual issue until I was in middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you had this sort of epiphany that there was a problem, did you start avoiding him? Did you spend more time at other people's houses? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
theater is the savior for a lot of us.
Mhm. Yeah.
My dad too was, I like to say, a raging alcoholic.
Oh yeah.
Um, that he, same thing. He would get home and just immediately start drinking.
Mhm.
And everybody knew this. Like this was just, everybody knew that Jack was just a drinker.
Yeah.
And theater was a godsend.
Mhm.
That it was somewhere that you could go to from whatever 3:30 to 6:30 or whatever it is, and then you have to go to the local, uh spot where you can eat french fries and talk with your friends and whatever, and that took you to at least 8 p.m.,
Mhm.
and then you could just kind of sneak in the house and be away. Was that
Very
similar?
similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just doubled down on theater. I did that for
You're
as
like,
long as I
what
could.
can I do?
Right.
I will build, I will stage manage, I will,
Yeah.
I will, anything to be in on this show. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did theater with our community theater. I did that. I volunteered with that theater company. I also was, I mean, for a while I did softball too. I did forensics. I
Yes.
I was like, how can I just speak and get trophies
Yeah.
and have people clap for me? So I did that. I mean, yeah, I still was, at friends' houses as much as I could. I became very great friends with our neighbor across the street who is also, an ally and knew very much like the ins and outs of our family. I mean, she was at his funeral too.
Wow.
Yeah, she cooked a lot of food like that. That family really became a saving grace for me and a safe haven for me. Just knowing that like if he started throwing plates and stuff, like I could just walk out and just walk across the street and just know that like I didn't have to say anything. Like I could just be there and I didn't have to do anything. I could just sit there and be okay. Um, so that was really nice. I really just, would go across the street or, go to rehearsal. I mean, there were some days I wasn't even called, but I'd be like, sorry guys, I got rehearsal, I gotta go,
Oh,
and
totally.
and that
Right.
rehearsal spot was only maybe like a mile away. So if I really needed to, like I could walk there or I could bike there,
Oh, okay.
It's really nice.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, did you, did you, did you, did you ever confront your dad?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh,
Like all the time?
fuck yeah, I did. Oh my God. I was the one kid that did.
Oh, were
Yeah.
you now?
I
What did that do to your family dynamics and relationships?
And I mean, I have two older half brothers too from a different marriage that are not his kids. So they confronted him too. But
Okay.
at this part, they were already out of the house, So out of my there's four of us full blooded siblings that are his children. Out of the three of us, like out of my other siblings, the three of them, I was the only one that said shit. And all of us have had different relationships with him.
Sure.
I'm the second in that line. My older sister is his firstborn. My younger sister is his little girl, and my younger brother is his only son. So here I am, just blah 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 blah, the extra kid who's just like
Middle
black sheep.
child, middle
Middle
child.
child. Yeah, so I doubled down. I was like, this isn't cool. Like, you can't treat my mom like this. You can't treat, I mean, he would still treat my other siblings, similar similarly, but just not to the extent that he treated me, you know. And I knew what he was doing was fucked up. Obviously, I wasn't as woke and emotionally intelligent as I am now because therapy. Um, but I still
If
had,
we've said it once, we've said it a million
yes,
times.
please go to
Well, if
therapy.
your head is being a little squishy, maybe talk to
Yes,
a therapist.
maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, because in your paperwork you said, Ida, you are not a therapist. I'm also not a therapist.
Yeah.
Yes, but I had some awareness that like this was not good, this was not healthy. And I remember like being I wrote him a letter when I was
Oh,
like
wow.
5 or 6, like, right when I started to have some awareness that this wasn't okay, because he was a sheriff, so he had a gun, and this man had so many guns.
Mm.
I just remember writing a letter to him in crayon, which was the saddest fucking part, and giving it to him and telling my mom about it, saying that, like, one of these days he's gonna go on a rampage and he's gonna kill us all. You
Mm.
know? Like, that it's just, like so that was, I guess, the
To
first.
live with that level of just the stress your body and brain must be under to live with that level of hypervigilance
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, as a little kid, yeah, and, like, the body does keep the score, like, I've read that, like, I've read emotional, like, or something,
Emotional intelligence, isn't it?
it's something about, like, of, adult children, and I'm thinking I
Oh,
see the cover, it's in the back of my car right now, I can't fucking pull it off, like, something of adult children, whatever, somebody fact check us or whatever, but I've read that book too, and it talks about, like, how you can, like, work through having um parents who aren't as emotionally intelligent, but like my body now, like I have had to have such in-depth trauma therapy for over a year to try and just scratch the surface to just forgive this man, you know. um so it's just this ongoing thing that, like, yes, I have confronted him and it started at such a young age, but like I it was a continuous thing that I, like, ended up confronting him, and it still got to the point where, yeah, he was probably asking for me on his deathbed, and I know that my mom probably I know she wanted me there, but she did ultimately understand that, like, it was my choice, and she respected my choice, and she understood my choice.
good.
Um, at the end of the day, like, do I wish I was there? Yeah, maybe, but, like, I had to do what I had to do. So it was a consistent, like, bringing this up to him that what he was doing was not okay, and he did just continue to do it because he was sick, like, he was just so sick, and
Yeah.
I get that now, but, like, during the time it was happening, I was just an angsty kid, and that happens, you know,
Yeah.
and I have to not forgive, but I have to look at my younger self then and say, "That's okay, like, those feelings are valid."
Yeah.
So that was a really long-winded answer, but yes, I did confront him a few times.
uh, but do, did, was it for where you are coming, was it all emotional and mental?
There was some physical. I mean, like, he was primarily physical towards, like, inanimate objects, but there was
Oh,
one
sure.
time where he did I laugh now because I can, but he did stab me in the stomach with a fork because I just wasn't unloading a dishwasher fast enough for him, or it wasn't done, like, properly or something, but I was extremely fortunate that a lot of it was I know you're making that face, but I have to, like, and I know I've talked to my therapist and she's like, "Well, you know, like, emotional and verbal abuse is can be just as damaging as physical
Oh,
abuse."
absolutely.
And
Yeah, and I'm
and I
not trying to
yeah.
minimize
Yes.
minimize. I'm just trying to get like the full picture
Yeah,
of what it was that you were dealing with.
exactly, and I'm not trying to minimize it either, like, it was horrific, like, what I went through sucked, but it was only physical towards me one time, and I still remember that,
Oh, sure.
yeah, yeah, but it was
Probably for the rest of your life.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
probably in there.
Yes, but, it was primarily verbal and emotionally abusive. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So how did you then how did you find yourself getting into the recovery market?
Um, Someone who I know was looking for part-time data entry work.
Oh,
And I was working at the time as a COVID-19 nasal swatter. And
oh
I was
man.
like, he was so optimistic. I was like, this is not going to last forever, even though I love sitting here and doing nothing most of my days. I was like, there's more to what I can be doing.
Where were you doing that? I don't remember that at all.
So it's funny because it's actually the company that we use, that we used to use for urine analysis. It's that company.
Okay.
They're not going to be named. They're going to be redacted. We can talk about it after.
Okay.
But I was working for them, and it was for school districts. So school
Okay.
districts were like testing a lot of people at the
Oh,
time
sure.
and like doing the COVID tracing. So I was doing that in the interim because before that I was doing activities for long-term care, for a long-term care facility and memory
I
care
remember
facility.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, this is fun. I like old people. But then I was like, I'm getting really tired of this right now.
It's a lot.
It is.
And
It is a
any
lot.
type of caregiving is a lot.
It is, yeah. But I was just like, I need to be doing something more. Like, I need to find a mission that I really care about. So this person told me that they were looking for part-time data entry work. I was like, bet I could use some extra money. I'm not doing a lot right now. I can do this while I have downtime. So I started essentially the resource map that we have.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that was.
Oh, my
So
Lord.
yeah, so I did that whole thing by myself for a few months. And I did that and I was cruising, I went through and then
Oh, I should probably say that too, that we are day job coworkers
yes.
right now. Yes.
Yeah.
So when we say we, it's because we exist in the same space during the daytime.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So and then they had an opening for me to run the credentialing for the Wisconsin International Credentialing and Reciprocity Consortium. So I was like,
Well, what?
exactly. So that's another thing I do besides human resources at the job if I'm not busy enough.
Wait, what?
So essentially what Wisconsin DSPS does, there's an international level for it too. This is not recovery based, but long story short, I would credential people at an international and national level, making sure that they have credentials
Okay.
for substance use disorders and peer recovery coaching and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I did that for a little bit and got that up and off the ground. I still do it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I did that for a few months and then they were like, "Hey, we have a position in HR. You have a business background too, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, technically I do. It's a business minor and I got my major as a BFA in acting. So like, yeah, I can pretend to be a businessy too." And I
We can pretend to be anything
Anything,
when
yes.
we have a BA or a BS or a
Yes.
BFA in theater. We
And-
can do anything.
Yes, you want me to be human resources? Okay.
I'd be human resources.
Yeah, I'd be human resources. So I did. So I've essentially been doing that. I've been with the organization now for 4 years, but I've been doing that basically for like 3.5 years, and I've been doing that then. So that's how it kind of came into my lap.
Oh,
And
okay.
it started off, yes, doing a part-time data entry, but then when I learned about the company and their mission and everything like that, I was like, this is something that I could really see me loving and thriving. And when I was younger, I always was very much into how can I make sure that people are being advocated for while still being able to like follow processes and everything like that. So that was always like something as I was going through high school and then even like doing my business track in college, um having the thought in my mind of like if I were to go into business, it would be more towards the human resource track because I never really had a human resource representative that advocated for the employees while still also advocating for the business as well. So that's normally like what I aim to do is being able to advocate for both. So now that we're in a peer run organization that has people that are being in recovery themselves, I'm able to advocate for those people too. And we're hiring people that have gone through our services as well and being able to
Yes.
see them go through our services and like walk through from like their first few days sober to then go and become a housing manager to then like a peer recovery coach to then going and becoming a substance abuse counselor in training, like that's just so cool to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like really showing that recovery is possible. And I'm just like you guys are just examples that like this truly is like something that we can destigmatize. Like you are just a human that can show that anything is possible. And it's just so fun to see those people and their stories.
There's something special about the whole process of like becoming a certified peer recovery coach and stuff like that. Like you have extra concert conquered the monster,
Mhm.
you know?
I am too, by the way.
Oh, yay.
I took it like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So don't ask me to do anything. Like I can find you resources. But if you were to test me on the material, not quite sure I would know it, but I can definitely get you in touch with resources. And that's
Sure.
essentially like a big part
That's
of
the
it,
big part
you
of
know?
the big part of the mission.
Yeah.
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 Um, what do you see in your daily life that's really like the biggest challenge for people in recovery?
I just think like, oh, that's actually a really good question. The so I was gonna answer it one way, and then I realized that there's a lot of ways that I could answer it.
Sure.
The biggest challenge for people in recovery. So I think a lot of it is just I think a lot of it at the end of the day is stigma, and then the language that people use as well. Like even just the difference between like are you clean or not? Like why are we
Oh,
insinuating that I'm dirty?
yes.
Like why, Um
What
that's
would you say instead of clean and dirty? Is it
sober.
just
Just
simply as
sober.
are you using or not
Or
using?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
using and not using.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's it. Um yeah, just like as simple as that. Or even if we're I guess it kind of depends on how far into the recovery process too, but like access to services is a really big thing. Like they're expensive too.
Yeah.
And one thing we do is we take state insurance to try and remove as many barriers as possible. Um, but access to services is a huge thing. I mean, for people trying to get into anything is a really big thing. Unless you have like private pay insurance and you can go anywhere, like it's hard on state insurance to find like if you need a residential level of care to try and find like a decent place, that's hard.
It there has been and there will always be some level of stigma and classism in any system of care, I
Mhm.
think. Um,
Capitalism, baby.
Capitalism, baby. It's it, you can in any walks of life you can see the different. I've seen it with my own daughter in researching like
Mm,
long-term care facilities and things like that. You can just see the difference between private pay situations and state assisted situations.
yeah.
I do not have any answers as to how that could be, but the stigma that comes along with it, then it's like, "Oh, you need help,"
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I have a sticker on my laptop. Needing help is human.
Needing help
We
is human.
all need help
Yeah.
to some extent.
Yeah.
We all need help. And there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't need help, like, okay, fine.
I if you don't need help, come and talk to me, and I would love to know how this works
Yeah, literally, yeah.
because yeah, just humanity in general and the process of being human in your everyday life. We humans can't do it alone.
No!
Like we just can't,
No, no, absolutely.
So what what do you feel like people should know about people in recovery, and how to really just be a good supporter and not carry judgment and stigma? How do you see people? Is it just simply being mindful of your word choices? Is it like what does it take to
Yeah.
just be a good person to people who are recovering?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can be careful of your word choices, great. I mean, it's yes, being mindful. It's a constant just be awareness, yes, but even if you can't, if that is too much, which sometimes it can be for some people, I think just in general being aware that it's a disease.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it's a disease.
yeah.
No different than heart disease, lung disease, any other disease I can't think of right now. But it's a disease. Like they didn't choose to have this disease. The best way I can describe it is they were dealt a shitty deck of cards and they chose to cope with it in a non-evidence based way, and now they have to find a way to replace that coping mechanism. So why can, like, just gotta choose a different way, shushy, find a different way to cope, and that's hard when that's like your go-to way.
There was a point in my life where I realized all the things that I was feeling was actually anxiety, that
Yeah.
that I was actually able to finally name it,
Ah,
because I
yeah.
am of a certain age, and we did not talk about those things
Yeah.
when we were younger. And it was after I had started therapy, and just this feeling, where you're just like, so like clenched fists and shoulders, and just like your body is vibrating from like the stress of
Yes.
whatever situation it is that you're dealing with. It's not like a panic attack. It's really just anxiety, right?
Mhm.
And I was drinking to stop that
Yeah.
feeling,
Yeah.
right? um in that process, I also realized I was never taught any coping mechanisms, like, ever.
Yeah, because your family didn't know
Sorry,
them.
family.
Yeah.
I just I was I remember, uh, going through something with Aurora, because I realized at the same time that Aurora was dealing with some anxiety as well, and calming her down and just asking her to breathe, and like,
But you
like
couldn't
rubbing her
breathe.
shoulders and things like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody ever did this for me when I was a kid. Like
Mhm.
that, it wasn't part of our language. We've gotten so much better over the past 20 years or so,
Mhm.
of talking more openly about these feelings and anxieties and depression and things like that, and finding non-substance based uh coping mechanisms: yoga, acupuncture, massage, all those things. I've used them all. Meditation,
I was gonna say
all the
meditation.
things
Yeah.
that I know now, because through research and whatever. But alcohol used to be the thing that was killing those terrible vibes for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so readily available too. Yeah.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
Oh man, I've got some in my basement. Uh, uh, yeah. Yeah. So how do you feel like people should What are good ways that you can, are there books you can read? Are there like if you have a person in your life who is in recovery or maybe who needs recovery?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so there's one thing that I always like recommend to people, whether you're a person in recovery or an ally. Dax Shepard has a podcast.
Oh yes.
Yes, armchair expert.
Yes.
And he is a person in recovery,
Yeah.
very loud and proud, and he had relapsed on I don't know how many years he had, but he had a good amount of years, and then
I
he
know.
relapsed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It really freaks me out.
Yeah. So his DOC was anything and everything he could get his hands on. He had an episode called Day 7, and it is his seventh day after his relapse, and he talks about it. And he recorded it with his
Mm.
co co-host,
Uh-huh.
Monica Padman,
Hmm.
and she talks as an ally, and then he's talking as the individual in recovery. And that podcast gets me every I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it. It gets me every single time because it talks about just like the honesty and humility that you need to have as a person in recovery, but then it comes from Monica's point of view of just being that person who can support that person in recovery and just like having that support and being there and just like having the love for that person, but also like it's okay to have that tough love with that person too. So I do always suggest that one for people. That one book that I'm thinking of right now that I can't think of right now.
It's not just something you can buy.
Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents.
Oh,
I think that's what it is.
okay.
Still
All right.
still fact check it.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the other one. Um, and I always just say like go to a meeting. Like go to an open meeting.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're not into Jesus, as great as she is, you can always go to like a celebrate or yeah, celebrate
No,
meeting.
Celebrate is
No,
the
that is the Jesus one. I'm
that is
thinking
the
of
Jesus
smart. I'm thinking
Smart Recovery.
Smart recovery. Go to an open smart meeting for friends and family.
Okay.
Just go.
Okay.
If you don't want to go in person, go online.
Okay.
It's great. And you can do that. But I mean, just going, you know.
My favorite podcast that I listen to, and I found it over pandemic. Uh it's called Dopey. It's
Is that the heroin one?
it's a heroin.
Okay.
The dark comedy, you know,
Yeah.
of heroin users. I I really love listening to the people on that program because they talk super open about their use and what got them out and all of those things.
Mhm.
That's my favorite. I think the point here is to, as great as this podcast is, there are lots of resources out there to find some valuable knowledge about being supportive of your person in
Mhm.
recovery.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, the one thing that comes up most often in my life is people, do you want something to drink? No, thank you.
Don't ask why. Don't ask why, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ask why.
If it's not, oh, are you designated driver? Well, yes, I am. I am designated driver all the time. It's are you sure you don't want are you sure you don't want something? No, but this is but do you want a drink? So we're talking about liquor, right? Do you want a drink? No, no, thank you. Do you want a beer? Do you want some wine? You know, like that's
Right.
like it's
Like
less
the Boston sober, I just won't have the hard liquor.
than Yeah, that's and I that came up like recently, and I looked at it. It was a family member of Lash X of my husband, and I was just like,
Yeah.
it's been 9 years.
Yeah, I'm not even sober, and that really makes me mad. Like, if I don't want to drink, like, no, no means no,
No
no.
means no. No means no.
And so many
In
reasons.
any
Yes.
situation, like you like don't what is it? Qualify it?
Justify it? Oh, probably
Like
qualify it, but
qua yeah, I think it's where you're like, well, we're gonna go to the next level.
yeah, yeah,
Like we're gonna double check. We're
yeah.
gonna, like just take it at face value.
Yeah.
Take any sort of
Now,
anything
yeah.
at face value. Um, what would you say to people who might be dealing with someone who has maybe been using after they've been in recovery? What would you I'm sure just being in our environments and being a peer recovery coach, what would you say to somebody who is dealing with somebody who they would like to see maybe re-engage with their recovery?
Mm, mm. Um, I'm always, again, I'm always a fan of asking, do you want to go to a meeting with me?
Nice.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of times people just don't want to go alone.
Yeah,
That's a
heard.
big thing.
Yeah.
Or just having a conversation with them, like, and
What
using,
can I do for
well,
you?
yeah, what can I do for you? Or like, hey, I've kind of noticed these things. Like, how are you
How are
feeling?
you
How
doing?
are you doing? And just doing an honest check-in with them, and saying, like, using a lot of I statements, because the more that you say you, the
Can
more,
push people away.
yeah, the more it's going to push them away, the more they get defensive.
Defensive.
Yeah, and like we're all in this shitty, rocky planet for who knows how long with the current affairs, but like we're we do
Um,
want the best for each other, and the more that you can make it as like a genuine concern, like if you are genuinely concerned about that person, you just gotta say that. But I am very much a person who's like, I would love to go to a meeting with you. And if you don't feel comfortable about that, that's okay. We can go together. Or we can do a virtual meeting together if you don't want to go into the actual room too.
yes.
Yeah. There are virtual meetings literally every hour on the hour, on the half hour.
There are so many apps out there
It's ridiculous.
that you can find like the meeting next door, or yes, or you can find something virtual, and then you can have your camera off, and then you can just sit there and
Yes.
listen, and you
Yeah.
can just be part of that
Yeah.
environment.
You could knit or do whatever. You can drink sport tea, TM. You could do
I think it was an R. I think it was a
Oh,
registered. I think
oh,
it was a registered.
sorry. You could do like literally anything. But yeah, like just like having that and just feeling like you are not alone. Yeah, like you are not. Like there's probably so many other people at that same current moment that are feeling the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And just knowing that like there are so many other people at that same time that are sharing that feeling, and knowing that, and it will 9 times out of 10 make you just feel so much better.
I think that's a really good lesson for just humanity in general right now. There's so much you can, we're here for you. You can email me, I promise you. I and But that is the one thing, and I've said it I think every week now. I I just want people to get from this podcast that this is the recovery journey is normal. It's just there's so many people who have this lived experience. You probably know somebody in recovery,
Whether they
and
want to admit it or not.
whether they're open about
Yeah.
it, if we learned anything in the constructivists, it's that your boundaries are perfect exactly where they are.
Thank you, Laura Sturm.
Thank you, Laura
Yes.
Sturm. And that you need to everybody's walking their own path, right? But just know that there's in the recovery journey, there's probably somebody who has a very similar experience
Yeah.
of what you have.
Mm-hmm. It's probably not going to be the exact same. Almost guarantee you it's not going to be the
Probably
exact
not going to be
same.
the exact same.
But yeah, there's many other people out there that are going to have similar journeys. And it's not going to be linear. I'd be shocked as shit if it's going to be linear, but it's okay. And it's your journey, and your journey, again, is fine. It's it's perfect just the way that it is. And I mean, the national average is 6 or 7 times that people are going into treatment. So if you relapse,
Yeah.
that's okay. Like if you're
Yeah.
coming back into treatment, good. Our director of operations always says like he would much rather have people come back into treatment than not.
Then not.
You know, like come
Yeah.
back to us than have another day out in the street and risk overdosing, you know.
Yeah.
Like it is so true. And yeah, just knowing that like you are not alone in this struggle. Like you have people that are also in recovery, you have allies that are here to help as much as they can to get you into services and do not, maybe not everybody's going to bend over backwards to help you, but you will find the few people that really truly get it that will be there for you
Yeah.
to help, because we've lost so many other people and we couldn't help them, but we're going to try and help you as much as we can.
Yeah, definitely reach out. I was just having a conversation with somebody today about my experience, and I I did it by myself. I stopped drinking by myself, and please don't. Like,
So dangerous. Like, I'm so glad you're
it's
okay,
so
dude.
dangerous.
I'm so glad you're okay.
I am only here by the powers that be because I had pretty intense withdrawals.
Yeah.
Um, and I understand where that can go
Yeah.
sideways. And so please, this, I say I've been trying to put this out about this podcast. Like, we're not therapists, we're not doctors, we're not, this is all about like just lived
Yep.
experience, right? But if there's one thing that I will say from my own lived experience is that if you are taking that first step into recovery, please talk to a doctor. Please.
Mm.
Because particularly with alcohol,
Yeah.
I don't know if people really understand how dangerous that really is.
Yeah.
Um and so just make sure that you that when you are ready to take that first step, that you're talking to a professional.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea how dangerous detoxing off alcohol was until I started this position.
Yeah.
And I heard about it and I was like, you fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, deadly, deadly
Yeah.
can be.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're okay.
And I'm here to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Yay! Is there anything else that you want people to sort of ruminate on that you think about when you think about just being a good ally? Is there something that really like just tugs at your heart to tell people?
Yeah, I mean, I think that so everyone's journeys in recovery is different. Everyone's journey as an ally is different too. And it's okay to, at least with me and my dad, um, it took a long time for me to forgive him.
Mm.
And I forgave him for me.
Yeah.
And if you are someone who is an ally and you know someone who is active in their use, you don't have to forgive them, and they don't have to ask for that forgiveness. It is something that literally just has to come for you. And you, again, just know that if slash when you are ready to give that forgiveness, that it is on the right terms, your terms, and that you do truly realize and understand that it's not personal to you as an individual. Like nothing my dad did was because of anything I did. It was all just driven by a disease.
Hmm.
And that's the biggest thing that I can just say is that, like, I still have so much work to work on and work through. And like, even though I couldn't have that relationship with my dad, like, I can have so many relationships with so many other individuals, and I can give back to so many other individuals. And I can be an ally for them. I just couldn't be an ally for him, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And if anybody else is struggling with a relationship that they may have with someone who's active in use, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be an ally for that person in particular. You can be an ally for someone else. Like, it's okay. Any negative feelings that you may have towards someone in active use, it's okay.
Yeah.
Um, it is okay.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it
Yeah.
is. It is. Um, and maybe I'll catch some flack for that, but like, it's okay. Whatever. Like, this is 31.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it ultimately, at the end of the day, it took a really long time for me to realize that, like, I didn't do anything wrong. I can still be an ally for other people. I just couldn't be an ally for him.
Yep.
And that's fine. So, yeah.
That's it's a good thing to keep in mind.
I'm just gonna, like, push this mic over, and that's my mic drop.
Don't do that.
No,
Don't do
it's
that.
too nice.
Well, we're gonna end here. I started a thing called the recovery round,
Ooh.
and it's gonna be a little different for you because you are not in recovery.
No, I'm not.
So these are coming from more of a perspective of an ally than somebody who's in active recovery. So, what's one thing you wish you'd known earlier about supporting someone in recovery?
Ooh. I wish I knew more about the language earlier.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because words have power. And I'm still learning every day. But
Same.
I wish I knew about the language and the stigma sooner. So I could have been working on it sooner.
Same.
But it's okay.
What's the hardest part of being on the outside of someone else's journey?
I will never truly understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Has supporting someone in recovery changed you? How?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just made me more a of a person who could empathize even more as an empath.
Sure.
But I feel like I see more of things. Like, I understand more. I can rationalize a little bit more. I just see more POV
Okay.
at the end of the day. Like, I can just, yeah, I just rationalize more. Like, I understand it. Period.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the period.
Yeah.
What do you want people in recovery to know about what it's like to love them?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, it can be hard.
Yeah.
It can be hard. Um, Trying to not personalize that
Sure.
can be really hard to not do that. Um, it is it can still be worth it though at the end of the day. I'm thinking not of my dad right now. As I think of the not hard things. But it's beautiful in general because it's still humans. Like, you are still my friends, like, you are still my family, and I'm still able to learn so much from you guys. And can still just consider you guys as part of me, you know. We're all in it together. I feel
Nice.
like I'm giving really shitty answers right now, everybody. I'm so sorry.
I have no apologies. People on this program apologize so much. Why are we apologizing so much? Uh, what would you tell someone who's just becoming an ally for the first time?
Welcome.
Coming into that
Yeah.
knowledge of being an ally.
Yeah. First of all, welcome. Here's your gift bag.
Here's your swag.
Here's your swag bag. Um, it's just like a recovery journey. Everyone's is different. We got a shit ton of resources. I will, try and help you out as much as I can. Again, we're all in it together. Um, if there's any questions, like I'm here to be a resource for you just as much as I am for any other person in recovery. And that really we really are just trying to do the good work and to have these conversations, and that at the end of the day there is only so much we can do.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't want it, they don't want it.
Yeah.
You can't force someone to go into treatment
No, you cannot.
because they're gonna waste their money, they're gonna waste their time, they're probably gonna
So many
relapse.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, and you can't personalize it too. If you put in all of this work, and let's say you bring someone to the doors of their, treatment, and even if they get a few days in or a few weeks or whatever, and then they go out and use, that's not on you, man.
Yeah.
And you can think that it is, but it's not at the end of the day. So yeah, it's great that you're here, and we're so glad that you are. Um, and we'll help you out too, but at the end of the day, like, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I think what I feel most about both aspects of both recovery and allyship is patience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Recovery is a long game. It's a long journey, and there are many, many peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Like there are lots of ups and downs. And I think having patience with yourself and patience with other people
Yeah.
will go a long way.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Really can't do much without it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have it, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep
Agreed.
breaths.
Yeah.
Deep breaths. Breathe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Liz Ehrler, for sitting on the couch and just thank you so much for being just such an awesome person and be my friend.
Yeah.
And I love your view of the world, and I just wish more people shared in that view.
Thank you. It is my pleasure. I can't say if growing up by an alcoholic is because of that view, but I will take it, and I will run with it, and I will continue to see the world as I can and share it with whoever is willing to listen. So, thank you for having me.
As my husband says, in all of his pearls of Polish wisdom, nothing happened without of the reason.
I don't know what that means.
Everything happens for a reason,
Oh, okay.
except the Polish way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Rehearsal and Recovery is produced by me, Jamilyn Gray, with support from Let's Go Windows and Doors, Get More for Less with Less, and music from Radd X. Please join us every Tuesday as we talk with a new artist about their recovery journey on Rehearsal and Recovery.